Hi there, I'm Tracy-Lee and I'm going to read you a story called How the Owl Got Its Sound. The story is about a brave little boy who speaks to the spirits of the forest and saves his village. Let's see how he does that. Long ago, when owls hunted by day, they were feared by people all around. At this time, one could say that owls made no sound. In a village in an African land, rats were eating all their food. This problem was getting out of hand. The village was sick and sad in mood. The villagers prayed to the spirits of the forest. One little prayer was heard above all. The prayer of a boy, the village's oddest. This farmer's child's prayer was the loudest call. This boy seemed strange. His name was Who? The spirits of the forest ran deep in his soul. The spirits knew just what to do, so they sent out an owl patrol. The owl swooped in the light of day to hunt the rats as their food. The owls, which turned their heads all the way, frightened the villagers' mood. The people thought they had been cursed, so they set to hunt each bird. The problems went from bad to worse, and the people felt their prayers weren't heard. The owls left and the rats stayed. The people thought they'd lost the fight. Soon after, in the forest where Who played, he got lost and day became night. Amongst the trees where owls slept, Who found himself alone. He curled into a ball and wept, then realized he wasn't on his own. Who looked up into the trees at all the owls peering down on him. The biggest owl is what he sees, which made him feel quite grim. The big owl opened its beak and began to speak in the spirit of the forest's voice. The voice said, "Who, we need your help today. Listen to the words we are about to say, in order to keep the rats away. We heard and answered all your prayers by sending these owls to you. We do not like your villagers' tears, so this is what you must do. Go to the elders and request a meeting. And please, Who, you must send our greeting. Tell them their people need not fear. Let them know why the owls are here." Who no longer was so scared. He felt a sense of peace and calm. The spirits showed him that they cared, and that the owls had meant no harm. The owls guided and showed him the way safely back to his hut. He went to the elders the very next day with a feeling of hope in his gut. Who told the elders what had occurred? They thought he was mad in the head. He told of the spirits who spoke through the bird. They didn't believe any word that he said. "You must have rat sickness, you poor little child," one elder said to Who. "The story you tell us is crazy and wild. Go rest, you must have fever too." Who went back to the big owl spirit to tell it of its meeting. Up close, this time he did not fear it. Instead, they met with joyous greeting. The spirit owl and Who decide what next they should do. The owls could no longer hide, they needed their food too. They agreed that the owls would now only hunt at night. Who would call out from the edge of the hill when the villagers had put out their last firelight and were sleeping and still. That night, when the village was sleeping and still, Who snuck out when no one knew. He climbed out to the top of the hill and called out his name, "Who, Who?" Owls swooped through the village at his call, catching rats for food for them all, each one eager to fill its tummy. Who and the owls continued this way, working together night after night. They did this up until one day there were no rats in sight. The crops and the people started to thrive, and everything was right as rain. The village was busy as a beehive. Then Who went to see the elders again. Who told the elders what had occurred, and of how the spirit owl was his friend. This time the elders believed every word. and harm to all owls came to an end. As Who grew up, he continued to visit the big owl spirit. Whenever he was lost, it showed him the way, until he became a wise elder one day. To this day, the owl hunts at night and is seen as a wise old bird. When the spirit of Who passes through the world, the sound is clear and true. Owls call out his name and can be heard. The end. Thank you very much for listening to the story. I really hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, you must tell your mother, your father, your brother, your sister, your cousins, your uncles, your aunts, your grandmother, everybody. Because the only way these beautiful stories carry on is if we tell them all to each other. Thank you.